Number 1. Self-Detonating Bomb. On April 5, 2024, a routine traffic stop in Marion County, Florida, turned into one of the most dangerous roadside discoveries in history. Sergeant Ryan Owens, with the Marion County Sheriff's Office, stopped a white van driven by 60-year-old Charles Legault after noticing the license plate was not properly registered to the vehicle. Legault appeared startled. He told Owens he was heading to a Lowe's home improvement store. When asked, he denied having explosives or illegal drugs inside the van, though he admitted he had a .22 caliber pistol and had recently smoked drugs. Owens began a search. He found drug tools and multiple bags containing a strange substance. About 8 minutes into the search, he located a PVC pipe device concealed inside the vehicle. As Owens handled it, the device suddenly detonated in his hands. The blast severely injured Owens' respiratory system. Despite struggling to breathe, he radioed for backup and managed to detain and handcuff Legault before collapsing. Emergency crews transported Owens to the hospital in critical condition. He later made a full recovery. Investigators later determined it was a homemade chemical pipe bomb. Authorities believe the valve was inadvertently rotated while Owens was examining it, triggering the explosion. Legault was charged with possession of a destructive device, aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer, armed drug trafficking, and illegal firearm possession. Under Florida law, he faces a sentence exceeding 20 years in prison. Number 2. Michael Robinson Jr. On July 29, 2020, a trooper with the Louisiana State Police stopped a black Chevrolet Camaro for speeding on a roadway in Louisiana. The driver, Michael Mitchell Jr., 18, was traveling 73 miles per hour, roughly 20 miles over the limit. During the stop, the trooper observed that Mitchell appeared nervous and confused. He stated the vehicle belonged to his brother and admitted there was marijuana inside. Officers located a partially smoked marijuana cigarette in the ashtray. The trooper then noticed bullet holes in the driver's side door. Around the same time, enforcement received information that the son of the Camaro's registered owner had been reported missing. The missing person was Michael Robinson Jr., 23. Troopers searched the vehicle. Inside the trunk, officers discovered Robinson's body. He had suffered multiple gunshot wounds. Authorities secured the scene and immediately detained Mitchell. Investigators later confirmed Robinson had been shot several times before being placed in the trunk. Under questioning, Mitchell first told detectives that he and an associate, identified in court records as Cameron Poe, planned to rob Robinson because they believed he had a large amount of cash. Mitchell later changed his account. He claimed he shot Robinson in self-defense during a confrontation. Prosecutors charged Mitchell with second-degree murder. After court proceedings and plea negotiations, he was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 25 years in prison. Number 3. 27 illegal migrants. On May 24, 2024, a trooper with the Texas Department of Public Safety conducted a traffic stop near McAllen, Texas. The vehicle was a Ford F-250 pickup pulling a horse trailer. The driver was Jose Guadalupe Salinas. When the trooper asked what was inside the trailer, Salinas stated there were 2 horses. He agreed to let the trooper inspect it, but issued a warning. "Be careful, they're aggressive." Salinas opened the side door of the trailer. Instead of livestock, the trooper discovered 27 undocumented migrants from Mexico, crammed inside the enclosed compartment. The trailer had no proper ventilation. Temperatures in South Texas in late May typically exceed 90 degrees Fahrenheit, creating extreme heat conditions inside metal enclosures. Troopers immediately observed signs of medical distress. Several individuals were sweating heavily and struggling to breathe. Authorities later confirmed that 3 women were suffering from severe dehydration and required urgent medical evaluation. Officers called for emergency medical services and additional units. The discovery transformed a traffic stop into a human smuggling investigation. DPS secured the scene and coordinated with the United States Border Patrol. Agents took custody of the 27 migrants for immigration processing. Troopers arrested Salinas at the scene. Authorities charged him with federal human smuggling and detained. Number 4. Turpin House. On January 14, 2018, at 5:49 a.m., a 17-year-old girl climbed out of a window in Paris, California, and dialed 911. Her name was Jordan Turpin. She told dispatchers her parents were abusing her and chaining her siblings to beds. She said some of them could barely breathe. Riverside County Sheriff's deputies responded within minutes. Deputies located thin and frightened Jordan outside the house on Muir Woods Road. She showed deputies photographs on a deactivated cell phone. The images showed children shackled with chains and padlocks. At 7:23 a.m., deputies entered the residence. Inside, deputies found 12 siblings, ages 2 to 29, living in filth. Several were shackled to furniture in dark rooms. The air smelled of human waste and rotting garbage. Officers observed malnourished adults who looked like children. The 29-year-old daughter weighed just 82 pounds, 37 kg. Medical staff later confirmed severe malnutrition and cognitive impairment consistent with prolonged abuse. Investigators identified the parents as David Turpin and Louise Turpin. Authorities arrested both that day. Prosecutors charged them with torture, false imprisonment, child abuse, and dependent adult abuse involving all 13 children. Court records detailed years of beatings, starvation, and prolonged restraint. One son had been chained for extended periods over several years. On February 22, 2019, both parents pleaded guilty in Riverside County Superior Court. On April 19, 2019, a judge sentenced them to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 25 years. Deputies described the house as one of the most disturbing scenes they had encountered. The discovery exposed years of hidden captivity behind a suburban facade. Number 5. The Candyman. On the night of August 7, 1973, in Pasadena, Texas, 17-year-old Elmer Wayne Henley brought two friends to the apartment at 2020 Lamar Drive. Inside waited Dean Corll, known in Houston Heights as the Candyman. By early morning, the visit turned into a death sentence. Shortly after dawn on August 8, 1973, Corll bound Henley and the two teens, Timothy Curley, 19, and Rhonda Williams, 15. He tied them to plywood torture boards, fitted with handcuffs and rope. Corll beat and threatened them. Henley later told police Corll said he planned to kill all three. At approximately 8 a.m., Corll untied Henley to restrain the others. When Corll handed him a .22 caliber pistol, Henley turned the weapon on him. Henley fired multiple shots at close range. Corll staggered down the hallway. Henley shot him again until he collapsed and died on the floor. Corll was 33. Henley called Pasadena police and confessed. Officers entered the apartment and saw the wooden torture board, plastic sheeting, rope, and weapons. During questioning, Henley revealed that Corll had murdered numerous boys between 1970 and 1973, often with help from Henley and David Owen Brooks. Corll paid them up to $200 per victim to lure teenage boys with promises of parties or drugs. What police uncovered next shocked the nation. Guided by Henley and later Brooks, investigators excavated mass graves at a rented boat shed in southwest Houston, at High Island Beach, and near Lake Sam Rayburn. By August 13, officers discovered 27 bodies. The final confirmed count reached 28 victims, aged 13 to 20. Most had been sexually assaulted, tortured, and shot with a .22 caliber pistol. Number 6. John Wayne Gacy. On December 11, 1978, 15-year-old Robert Peist left the Nissan Pharmacy in Des Plaines, Illinois, at about 9 p.m. He told his mother he was going to speak with a contractor about a job paying $5 an hour. The contractor was John Wayne Gacy. Peist never returned. Police interviewed Gacy within hours. He admitted speaking with the teen, but denied involvement with Peist's death. Investigators quickly learned Gacy had prior convictions for sexual assault. On December 13, officers obtained a search warrant for his home at 8213 West Somerdale Avenue in Norwood Park, Chicago. Inside, they found handcuffs, a .22 caliber pistol, ammunition, police-style bandages, and driver's licenses belonging to young men. They also noticed a strong odor emanating from the crawl space beneath the house. Surveillance teams monitored Gacy around the clock. Detectives observed erratic behavior. On December 20, during a meeting with his attorneys, Gacy broke down. He admitted that Peist was dead and claimed he had thrown the body into the Des Plaines River. He further stated that numerous victims were buried under his home. On December 21, investigators executed a second search warrant. Officers entered the crawl space and began digging. Within hours, they uncovered multiple human remains buried in shallow graves. Ultimately, police recovered 26 bodies from the crawl space, 3 more from other areas of the property, and later located 4 victims in the Des Plaines River. The confirmed total reached 33 murdered young men and boys, killed between 1972 and 1978. Most victims died from ligature strangulation after being handcuffed and sexually assaulted. In the early hours of December 22, Gacy provided a detailed confession. A jury convicted him in 1980. The state of Illinois executed him by lethal injection at Stateville Correctional Center on May 10, 1994. Number 7. 375,000 fentanyl pills. On June 12, 2024, undercover officers with the Arizona Department of Public Safety initiated what began as a routine traffic stop along Interstate 40 near Joseph City, Arizona. The driver, identified as Yolanda, followed another vehicle at a less than 1-second gap. Officers also observed multiple objects hanging from the rearview mirror, obstructing visibility. When officers approached, they noted extreme nervousness. Yolanda first stated she was heading to Phoenix. Minutes later, she claimed she was in Joseph City to visit an uncle named Ernesto, but could not provide an address and relied on her boyfriend's phone. Despite saying they had dated for a year, she initially could not recall his full name. Officers requested consent to search the vehicle. Yolanda refused. A canine unit conducted a free air sniff around the exterior. The narcotics detection dog gave a positive alert, establishing probable cause under Fourth Amendment standards. Officers then conducted a warrantless vehicle search based on the canine indication. Inside, troopers discovered multiple large bags concealed in the vehicle. The bags contained blue M30 pills, counterfeit oxycodone tablets commonly laced with fentanyl. Field assessment and preliminary counting indicated more than 375,000 pills. Officers confronted Yolanda about the bags. She claimed they had purchased them earlier that day from a Ross retail store. Troopers immediately rejected the explanation after observing the contents. Officers arrested Yolanda and her boyfriend at the scene on suspicion of transportation of dangerous drugs for sale and related felony charges. Investigators stated that the seizure removed hundreds of thousands of potentially lethal fentanyl doses from circulation. Number 8. 110-pound drug. At 1:30 p.m. on March 22, 2024, rain was falling. A white Penske box truck was driving without headlights, weaving between lanes, and following other vehicles too closely on Interstate 70 in Ohio. Sergeant Timothy Williamson of the Ohio State Highway Patrol stopped the truck. The driver identified herself as Andrea K. Rodriguez. Sergeant Williamson observed unusual behavior. Rodriguez leaned back behind the door pillar as if trying to conceal her face. She stated that I rented the truck in Tucson, Arizona, to move personal belongings to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. She then claimed that I planned to drive the empty truck back to Arizona immediately after unloading. The explanation raised suspicion. Williamson inspected the rear of the truck. He noticed a heavy-duty, cut-resistant padlock securing the cargo area. He also detected a strong odor of fabric softener or detergent, commonly used, investigators say, to mask narcotics from canine detection. Troopers requested a canine unit from headquarters. The narcotics detection dog conducted an exterior sniff and gave a positive alert for drugs. That alert established probable cause. Officers opened the cargo compartment. Inside, they found 50 individually wrapped packages of drug, weighing a total of 110 pounds. Authorities estimated the street value at approximately $1.75 million. Rodriguez admitted she was transporting the drug from Arizona to New York City in exchange for $50,000. Troopers arrested Rodriguez at the scene. She faced first-degree felony trafficking and possession charges, carrying potential penalties of up to 25 years in prison and significant fines. Number 9. 28-year fugitive killer. On August 16, 2012, Deputy Devon Blair of the Oconee County Sheriff's Office randomly stopped a Mazda in Oconee County, Georgia. The vehicle displayed no valid registration and had no insurance on file. The driver identified himself as Rai Sekhem, and a records check showed the license was suspended. When Deputy Lex Ogan informed the driver that he was under arrest for a suspended license, he panicked. He pleaded repeatedly, "I'm begging y'all, I have kids, I have a sick aunt, I'm the sole provider, I'm not a criminal, I'm not a scammer." At the Oconee County Jail, deputies fingerprinted him. The prints matched Mohammed Bilal El Amin, 47. The system flagged an active federal fugitive warrant tied to a 1994 homicide in Atlanta. The warrant traced back to November 27, 1994. At the Oakland MARTA station in Atlanta, El Amin, then 19, shot Jafford Tucker Jr., 18, in the face during an altercation. Tucker died at the scene. Authorities charged El Amin with murder, felony murder, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. Before trial, he fled Georgia. In 2001, the Federal Bureau of Investigation issued a federal unlawful flight warrant after he failed to appear in court. He remained at large for nearly 28 years, living under aliases. The 2022 traffic stop ended that run. Deputies transferred El Amin to the custody of the Atlanta Police Department to face the original charges. Number 10. 4-child kidnapping case. At approximately 7:30 a.m. on November 30, 2021, on Detroit's west side, officers with the Detroit Police Department stopped a vehicle after the driver ran a red light. The driver was identified as Stephanie Marie Binder, 37. As officers approached the passenger side of the van, they immediately observed 4 children in the back seat, an 8-year-old girl, an 11-year-old boy, a 7-year-old boy, and a 5-year-old boy. All 4 were crying and appeared visibly panicked. Binder told officers she was rushing to take her children to school. However, she could not name the school they allegedly attended. Officers noted inconsistencies in her answer. Instead of issuing a traffic citation, they continued the investigation at the roadside. An officer asked the children directly whether Binder was their mother. The children shook their heads no. Police removed Binder from the vehicle and detained her. A records check revealed the van had been reported stolen. Investigators determined that Binder had abducted the 4 siblings earlier that morning while they were walking to school. Officers secured the children and contacted their parents. The siblings were safely reunited with their family later that day. Prosecutors charged Binder with 4 counts of kidnapping, 4 counts of unlawful imprisonment, auto theft, and receiving and concealing a stolen vehicle. She was sentenced to life in prison.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and tell me which story you want next. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.